Let's dive into the way I review every bike on this channel. My goal is to list all the positives and negatives I observed during filming, from the owners, or in some cases even while riding it myself. And then it's up to you, as the viewer, to decide what is the real positive and what is the real negative, which obviously should help you to make your decision either towards investing in this bike or avoiding it for something better. Now, there is something new I will bring starting from this video, where on top of negative and positive sections, I will also include neutral section, which is a section where I'm not quite sure yet if whatever I'm talking about is something that can be considered as a positive or as a negative. So it will be somewhere in between. And again, this will be for you to decide where you want to include it. Before starting, I just want to say a huge thank you to the staff of Grand Moto Store, who kindly agreed to have me in their store filming multiple bikes from Benda, all of which I will be posting on this channel. So make sure that you subscribe to my channel if you want to see the rest, and if you ever visit Baku, I highly suggest to visit Grand Moto, as they are currently the official distributors of Benda motorcycles in this country. Plus the stuff here is super friendly. Keep in mind that there are two versions of this bike. Benda Dark Flag 500, which is kind of a base model, and Benda Dark Flag 500 Commander, that is considered upgraded premium version, which I will be reviewing in this video. And following the tradition, I'll start with the negatives. I'm very confident that the price, together with the looks of this bike, are probably one of the main reasons why a lot of people leaning towards this bike, including many beginners. And you know what's the curb weight of this bike? 260 kilos. Yeah, it's not one of those light cruisers you can easily navigate through the tiny channels during the traffic, unless you squat and deadlift a similar weight. Obviously with time I assume you can get used to it, but I think for the beginning of this review this is an important point to mention for new starters, or even those for whom this bike is not the first ride, but certainly a big change from their 100 kilo moped-alike motorcycle. Next negative I'm pretty sure will be considered positive for many viewers, and I think I will probably mention it again in a positive section. But here I'll mention it from a negative point of view. Exhaust pipe. It's bulky, adding to the width of the bike, obviously making it even more challenging for the lane filtering in a heavy traffic. And you know what can make it even harder? Well, second exhaust pipe. Yes, two identical exhaust pipe, one on each side, making this bike wider than that guy who ate only junk food for the last 3 years with sedentary lifestyle and other poor choices he made throughout his life. And now every entry or exit from the single Burger King door becomes fight for a life. Sorry, I got carried away a bit. Speaking of the exhaust pipe, it's here again, but this time for something different. Something that makes a very tiny number of people happy and a large number of people unhappy. And I'm talking about the sound. Damn, it's so loud. For 500cc bike, this bike sounds twice his age, or cc, whatever. It's really loud. Will it turn heads with every rev? Yes. Will you be called a bunch of names when passing through a residential area? Most probably also yes. Will you be stopped by police saying that the reason for stop is your modified exhaust pipe? Absolutely yes. Oh, sorry, I again got carried away. Here is how it sounds. So, tell me, what do you think? Is it my exaggerations or music to your ears? Seat. Yes, this is the one you found in the negative section, but I have both good and bad news for you. Good news is that the driver's seat is not included in this negative, and you will find it in the positive section. The bad news is that seat is still here, in the negative, though this one is for the passenger. First, and the most obvious reason you can already see from the video, is that it's small. Clearly not the bike that was created for the comfort of the passenger. Can you modify it? Probably yes, but we are all talking about getting a brand new bike from the store where you arrived with 2 helmets ready and your girlfriend or boyfriend excited that they will return home on a new bike. Well, if that's the case, I don't think this will be the most comfortable ride for them. And you know who will probably hate you for something related to the passenger seat? Well, drivers behind you. because that backpack your passenger will probably wear, or even a loose jacket, will probably cover the stoplights that for some reason Benda decided to put at the edge of the passenger seat. Yes, it's small and looking good, but the size makes it even easier to be covered by what I just told you. Obviously, the easiest solution is to tell your girlfriend or boyfriend use the public transport, but there's a high chance that this will not end up well. Next negative might be a mild inconvenience for some, but still, it's a negative. Tank cap. Don't get me wrong, it's nice. You can use it for a satisfying click sound at the long traffic lights. But it's literally a cap, like the ones on the water bottles before EU law to have them attached all the time. So when you are filling the tank, you need to hold it in your hand or put it somewhere in random places from where, in my experience, it usually just rolls on the ground. Not sure about you, but I personally find it more convenient to have a cap that opens like a door and stays on the tank, so I don't need to hold anything in my hand while filling the tank. Moving to something that is not that far from the tank cap, handlebar. And no, it's nothing wrong with the handlebar itself. It's actually quite comfortable. My main concern, which I decided to include in the negative section, is the traction control system and ABS in the form of a button on the right side. And you know what they say about physical buttons? Whatever can be pressed will be pressed. Yeah, I just made that up. I don't think anyone says that. Though I still think that you can accidentally deactivate TCS or ABS without even knowing it. Not sure if Benda prevents that with 3 seconds hold or just one click will be enough, but in my opinion, activating or deactivating would have been much better through fancy screen they have. Spoiler alert, but the look of this bike will definitely be in the positive section of this video, but definitely not because of the mirrors. I just don't see how it can complement the overall look of this bike. Actually, it's a bit weird because I think they nailed it with the look of the mirrors on their cheaper models like this one. Well, if the mirrors does not look like they deserve to be in the negative section, then I'm pretty confident that you will agree with me on this negative related, again, to the look of this bike. I'm talking about the front sight, specifically this part of the motorcycle above the headlamp. I mean, this just screams to have some wind protector or some sort of cover that will make it less ugly than it is now. There is just no way anyone can think that this is dope, and I definitely suggest Benda to have some type of cover, and who knows, maybe even they can add some storage as well. Now, the final negative is probably the most popular negative that I usually list in my reviews of the motorcycles that have their ignition lock on the side. And it's definitely the most popular point where people disagree with me, saying that this is the classic placement of the ignition locks on nearly every cruiser type of bikes. And you know what? I still find it weird. I don't care if this is the cruiser thing, history, or whatever. If this bike falls during the ride, or even when not in motion, simply because it slipped from your hands, then it's gone. This key will definitely snap under the weight of that bike, which I will remind you weighs 260 kilos. You know what else is super frustrating? Is that you won't be able to lock the bike using the same ignition lock. No, you need to use a separate lock between the gas tank and front forks to lock the front wheel. And trust me, as someone who used similar setup on CFmoto or Royal Enfield 500, you will definitely find yourself starting the bike and only then realizing that you forgot to unlock the front wheel. So now you need to turn off the bike again, take the key out, put it into the separate lock, unlock it, and then start the bike again. Pretty meh, in my opinion. I loved my Yamaha XSR where everything was done in one lock. As promised in the beginning, I will add some of the points to the neutral section, because I simply don't know if everything I will include in this section belongs to the negative or positive section, and given the fact that this channel is built on honest reviews, I think neutral section deserves to exist. And the first one to add in this section is the air suspension, which, by the way, you can adjust electronically, obviously affecting the seat height as well. I mean, the bike itself is pretty low, and having the possibility to play around with its height is pretty amazing for this price. But the feedback so far is mixed. Some say it's good, some say it's bad, some say it goes back to the same height when you start driving. Yeah, it's just too blurry for the moment to attach this to the negative or the positive section. Actually, it would be nice if this video will reach owners of this bike, who will probably give us more feedback in the comment section. Brakes. Obviously, nothing good or bad I can say about them, so that's why you found them in this section. Though what I can say for now is that it has ABS system, the one I wish I had on my second bike during the rain to avoid what you can see now on the screen. If you decide to get Dark Flag Commander, you will also get brakes from Brembo company, which is a well-known Italian company, and by well-known I mean they have a good reputation, and you will find the same company brakes on the bikes that I'm pretty sure you heard before, like Ducati, Aprilia, KTM, Triumph, Yamaha R1, Kawasaki H2R, and so on. But with that being said, I trust only real experience coming from the real world situations. So this is why I decided to include this point in the neutral section. And again, hopefully owners of this bike will gather under the comment section, either to verify everything positive related to these brakes on this particular bike, or maybe say something not so promising. And the last point that I will include in this section is the screen. Don't get me wrong, it looks modern and fancy, but the functionality is super limited. No possibility to change theme, play with icons, colors, and many more of what you can usually do with digital screens these days. The only reason why I included this in the neutral section is because I believe that this is something that Chinese motorcycle brands will affect by some software update that the owners will be able to install by visiting the dealership. Alright, I hope you are still here and everything said so far did not discourage you from buying this bike, because if yes, the positive section is exactly the one that should bring you some hope. Look of this bike. It's dope. I mean, during the last couple of years, Chinese manufacturers, especially Benda, did not disappoint with the look of their bikes. And this model is not an exception. You get the same frame pattern like on Benda Napoleon, going through the entire frame and not just visible parts, which in my opinion looks way better than just a plain metal. The fuel gauge sensor is super unusual. I don't even think I've seen this on any other motorcycle. I don't even think we will see that replicated on the future models of any motorcycle. I mean, there is no way you can miss the fuel level with an entire mountain-like sensor. Just look at this. An entire mountain where that monkey from The Lion King would bring Simba to show him to all the animals below. But in this case, it's only showing the fuel level. Speaking of the movies, I also like the Transformer-like look of the engine. Pretty nice touch that makes this bike look really cool. Although the backstop light was something I mentioned in the negative section, I still think it looks good if you drive without a passenger. And the headlamp is also LED, which in combination makes this motorcycle easily look as something out of 2025. Though I still wish they covered the upper part above the headlamp. Another positive to say about the look is the color palette. Yes, you get your classic all-black edition, but you can also go for something bright, like this cream white, I guess, color and orange-brown seat, which in my opinion looks way better. They also have red color on their website, but I didn't see one in the store. Tank capacity is usually something I include in the negative section, but luckily for you, not for this bike. It's 16 liters. It's not huge considering the size of this bike, but it's not bad either compared to some other Chinese bikes where similar sized bike would have only 11 to 13 liters. The official figures for fuel consumption are around almost 6 liters per 100 kilometers from the manufacturer. But some people report better mileage depending heavily on riding style, conditions, and if it's V4 or V-twin mode. Handlebar is the next positive point I have to say about this bike, because of multiple reasons. First is the fact that it's comfortable, not too wide, not pointing down or up or anything that will make your hands tired after long rides. And second is what actually adds to the comfortness is that this bike has the cruise control, which again is something really nice to have on a bike that will not cost you a fortune compared to other bikes where this feature will be included and considered as a premium with obviously a premium price. I believe that's a really nice feature for a cruiser, as many people prefer cruisers for long distance rides. So having a cruise control should make your ride even more enjoyable. I also have to point on the oil reservoir, which compared to CFmoto's jar of peace is neatly covered here with a matte black case and the window pointing to the driver, which in my opinion is the correct way of having it. Moving to something that is located below the handlebar, if being precise on the frame of the left side of this bike. USB-A and USB-C ports. Pretty nice. Not something you will find in all new models of other manufacturers, and something I definitely missed in my previous bikes. I also like that they have USB-C, which we can use for majority of our devices, but also USB-A for some cheap devices that will still require A ports for power and charging. Though the passenger seat was mentioned in the negative section, the driver's seat I believe deserves to be in the positive section, based on the feedback I found on the internet and a few hours I spent with it during filming this bike. I believe it's a great addition to the comfortness of this bike, especially when paired with the handlebar comfortness that I previously mentioned. Moving to another positive, located this time lower than the seat level. Just a few years ago I would probably say the chain, but not now, and not with the Dark Flag Commander, because there is no chain. Instead you will find the belt, which I can easily include in the positive section because it requires less maintenance and it's easier and cheaper to replace than the classic metal chain. You know, in the 21st century we got multiple things upgraded that can make things easier, and belt drive I believe is one of those upgrades. I know I mentioned the key in the negative section, but I won't miss the small point as the positive, because in my opinion it really is one of them. And that is turning the key all the way to the left to pop up the seat. Not a big deal you may think, but say that to my CFmoto CLC 450 where I had to use an Allen key to unscrew passenger seats, then use it again to unscrew the driver's seat, and only then get the chance to access under the seat where, by the way, they put the Allen key. That's just evil, requiring Allen key to open the seat where you have the Allen key to open the seat. And that's all the positives, neutrals and negatives I managed to observe and find for you, which hopefully will help you to make your decision. I won't beg you for likes and subscribe to my channel, but I won't complain either if you decide to do so. Especially knowing that I'm not sponsored and do these videos to help random strangers on the internet. Thank you and see you somewhere else.